Show the world. Let them know it's Halloween. Hit it!
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you.
'Nightmare on Elm Street 3' is directed by Chuck Russell and tells the story of a girl named Kristen Parker who gets sent off to a psychiatric ward after being framed by Freddy Krueger for cutting her own wrist. She meets a few teenagers that have also encountered Freddy, including the doctor Nancy, who we see as a teenager in the first film. And so they are on this quest to try and kill Freddy Krueger before he kills everyone in this hospital. Now, I really love the first Nightmare on Elm Street film. If you've seen my review, you know I really enjoyed that movie. And I might re-review it again just because I want to give you guys a better review of the film. But for now, you can check it out. It's a little bit older. The editing is not that good, but it gets to the point. Overall, I love that film. I think it's a classic, one of the best horror films of the 80s. And sequels to these films, to these classic movies, don't always, in fact, never, are as good as that first film. They never catch the spark. Not even Halloween 2 was able to catch that spark for everyone. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 was one of the few horror movie sequels at the time that was able to bring in both critics and audiences together to pretty much enjoy this film altogether. And that is rare for an 80s horror movie sequel. I mean, count how many Friday the 13th or Halloweens or even the Nightmare on Elm Street films themselves, that a lot of them are well regarded by both fans and critics. Sure, some people love them more than others, but they're usually not all positive. Here, it's mostly positive. Like, a lot of people really enjoy this one. And I think I understand why after watching it. It balances both the fun aesthetics that it's going for the 80s, while also being a horror film really well. Like, it captures the tone perfectly because Freddy Krueger is a character that is prone to going over the top. Even in the first film, while he is more creepy and serious there, does have his moments of sarcastic fun. Here, it is amped up all the way, but the movie's tone also goes along with it, while also feeling a lot more epic also, like it's a sequel that tries to raise the stakes. Also, it has more of a connection with the first movie, with certain characters from the first movie returning to give better continuity, and for this to feel like a true sequel. Like, the events of that first film have influenced the events here. And we're seeing the end of the story. The way this film wraps up felt very conclusive. All the actors do a good job. I think Lawrence Fishburne, was a little bit underutilized, but I think he was good for the most part. The actress, what's her name? Crap, I know she played Heather Langenkamp. I am terrible with names, I'm sorry guys. I think she does a really good job as Nancy once again, though she is a little bit more serious. It kind of makes sense since after the events of the first film, she would be a pretty different character. And I think her character progression here felt natural, and I really liked her presence in the film. All the other teenagers are pretty good. All the characters themselves I thought were actually pretty fun, and I never found a single character that I actually wanted to hate. I was actually rooting for all these kids, as a lot of them have their own quirks, their own uniqueness. And also what I love about this film is how they use the dream world. Like, their disabilities in the real world could become their powers in opposite ways in the dream world. And they use that against Freddy in many creative ways. But also Freddy was able to find a lot of creative ways to kill the kids. And there are a lot of kills. And some unfortunate ones too, since a lot of these characters you do end up carrying. And as I said, the tone balance was, for the most part, pretty good. I would say near the end it goes a little bit too much over the top. But I think throughout the film, Chuck did a pretty good job keeping the tone balanced out. He also did a good job directing. This visually is a really good looking film. And the prosthetics and animatronics and makeup effects and everything create all these horror imageries. And also the stop motion effects too. They all look pretty good for an independent movie. I mean, not the best. I've seen better stop motion and visuals in other bigger budgeted films, but for its time and for an independent film, I think for what they're working with, I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, this really is one of the better looking and probably one of the better produced films in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Overall, I think a lot of this is also due to the fact that Wes Craven also returns, and that he actually has story credit, and you could tell sprinkles of his ideas are put into this film. Overall, while not a perfect sequel, this definitely is the best so far that I've seen of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. It is a lot more fun, it is a lot more campy, the characters are very entertaining and fun to watch, the kills are creative and great. Freddy Krueger, while not always in the film, like I would have loved more of him, is still fantastic as the main villain. And overall, I had a really good time with this one. And I'm going to give Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors a B+. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.